Okay, so we have all this diversity of life. You know, the evolutionary tree has produced millions and millions of species. We're not even sure how many species there are. There estimates there have been 1.5 million species described by science. By estimate, estimates are that we maybe have 50 million total species out there. So there's a lot of diversity of life out there. And we said we have this classification scheme where we try to make sense of it all, figure out who is related to whom. Now, that's one way of looking at the world. But the world consists of a whole lot more, right? There's all this stuff around us. It's not just the life. There's the bookcases, the trees, the rocks, the mountains, the oceans. All of these are bookcases too, are habitats for life. Maybe I have mice living in there. I hope not. I do have a cat who's pretty good at controlling things like that. But these are all potential habitats, or not just potential, they are habitats for life. So when we think about life, you can look at it at, step back from life and look at it from a different perspective. And there was a famous musician from my era, way before your era, Joni Mitchell, and I remember her talking, on one of her albums, where she was saying, "You should put some time into ecology, man." What the heck is ecology anyway? Well, I've got a definition for you right here. Ecology is the study of life and its interactions with other types of life and its interactions with the environment. All of that is ecology. So when we step back from life and we're thinking about all of these interactions, then we can think about some other terms that my head is blocking right now. There they are. Population. So if you think about all of the rabbits living in my yard. I have a lot of rabbits. I don't know what the heck. I think my neighbor has a rabbit warren in his yard. But anyway, all of the rabbits in my yard would be a definition of a population. It's one species in a defined area. And believe it or not, I have a population of rabbits living in my yard. I see them every single day. Now, what's interesting, a real quick aside. My wife, I said, is from Russia, and before all this COVID stuff, we used to travel regularly to Russia. And she was from St. Petersburg and that northern Russia area, so her family is in this area, and so they don't have rabbits. What they have are hedgehogs. And I've never seen one, and I mentioned that to their family, and they say, "You've never seen a hedgehog?" No, I've never seen one. I want to see one. I want to see a live one. Now, I've seen the African ones you can get as pets, but these are the wild, kind of like the rabbits in my yard. They have populations of hedgehogs in their yards. It's a cool idea. So any species in a defined area is a population. I have other stuffs living in my yard too, right? I have chipmunks. I have different kinds of squirrels. I have a lot of bugs, a lot of insects out there, a lot of plants, some grass, some flowers. My wife loves to plant flowers. It's the community. So all of the species, all of the populations in a defined area is a community. So a population is one kind of animal or plant. Then the community is all of the plants and animals and bacteria and fungi in a defined area. This is the community of life. What do we call the defined area with the area itself with all of this life? It's the ecosystem. So when you add in the environment, I said ecology is the study of life, the interactions between the life and the interactions with the environment. That gives us the ecosystem. And what is the biggest, most inclusive ecosystem of all? The world. We don't call it the world. We call it the biosphere. Okay. We'll move on to another topic.